in the mirror, man, you're so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately, it's you.
Welcome to the Jeremy Hill Show. If you're easily triggered, leave now because this is not the show for you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I got another tragic story for you, but I got to report on it. I'm going to tell you about a mother who discovered that her 17-year-old daughter was allowing a 10-year-old and below, two kids. She was allowing them to clap her cheeks. And once the mother discovered that, she supported the daughter. And she supported the daughter by rounding up other family members to go try to intimidate the minors, the underage youngsters, and also to threaten violence towards the parents of the ones who was victimized. Yeah, it's crazy. But hold on, I'm going to show you too. You know how I get down, man. I always can back up what I say. Give me a second as I pull it on your screen, man. You're about to get it. Let's get it.
Very disturbing story this evening out of Columbus. A 17-year-old girl is charged because she's having or had sex with a 10-year-old boy.
WTVA's Chris Knowles has been following this story today. He joins us live in Columbus with what he's found.
Right now, I'm standing outside of the Columbus Municipal Court. Now, just a few hours ago, I was here just in this very courtroom, and they charged a 17-year-old. And not only that, they charged her mother. Take a look. Pictured is 17-year-old Miracle Morgan. She is charged with sexual battery and statutory rape after allegedly having sex with a 10-year-old, according to Columbus Police Chief Joseph Daltrey. Daltrey says it all happened on Mother's Day. He says a group of kids were gathered and saw it happen. He says the children who watched it told the police. He says Morgan's mother brought one of her other children and some other kids to the homes of those who talked to the police to fight them. The mother and those other children have been arrested.
Think about that for a second. The mother discovers that her daughter is really a pervert, okay? And then also think about the fact that while this 17-year-old woman was assaulting or committing statutory rape on a 10-year-old minor, she also had an audience of other youngsters who beheld her deviant, degenerate behavior. They observed that. They will forever be scarred. They will always have this in their memory. When they reach adolescence and when they become adults, they will always remember the horrible image of a 17-year-old doing statutory rape to a 10-year-old. And then imagine how the mother did not discipline the child who committed this heinous crime, but instead tried to attack and intimidate not only the children, but the parents of the ones who was statutory raped. That is sick. And this happened on Mother's Day? Are you serious? But let's keep going. I got to keep going. You know, man, I just want to interject that. Let's keep going.
The mother and those other children have been arrested.
I mean, it was disturbing. It really was. But then I was also a little more disturbing as well when I found out that the mother brought her children to beat up the people who saw what took place. You know, that's not going to be tolerated. Nobody should have to worry about people coming, jumping on them or breaking in doors and wanting to fight them for what? Because you did wrong? Oh, okay. Keep on. We're going to have a place for you. You know, we put the mama in jail. Mama act a fool, she going to jail too. Everybody goes to jail.
I talked to some people around the community about it. They asked not to be on camera. They were disgusted.
I think she's got a problem, a bad problem, probably started from childhood. And now that she's become a teenager, it's gotten worse. And that her parents didn't watch out or teach her any better.
Morgan's bond was set at $100,000. Now, we have just learned that Columbus police have dropped two of the 3 charges, and now she's only charged with sexual battery. I talked to some people around the community that were not on camera, but they did tell me, well, they were honestly just speechless at first, and they told me they are sickened by this. Reporting live in Columbus, Chris Knowles, WTVA 9 News.
That is sickening, man. But let me tell you something. Something that is not often talked about is how modern day women are also degenerate, lustful predators. They're not talking. You always hear about men being predators, but there are a lot of men today who have been statutory raped by a woman, by an aunt, by a mother, by a cousin, by a neighbor. It happens all the time in our communities. And I had did a video similar to this, talking about a black woman lets her cheeks get clapped by a 6-year-old, and you will be amazed at how many men got into the comments and said something similar happened to me. This happened to me. That happened to me. This is something that we need to bring awareness to. We don't need to hide from this. We need to talk about this so that the ones who need healing can get healing, and to also expose the behaviors of the degenerates so that we will be able to protect the children that are in our own community. Now, let's keep going. 1 second. As I turn it up.
First of all, I'm really sorry that you had to go through this. And secondly, thank you for sharing this experience, because this is actually a lot more common than you think. A lot of men actually have been essayed but may not have been aware of it, because a lot of men are just socialized to think that they're the violent ones, they're the aggressors, but they are not taught to think or believe that they themselves could actually be victimized. And so sometimes when these situations happen, although it may be uncomfortable, it may be painful, it doesn't actually register that they actually became a victim of SA. And sometimes it's not until later on, until maybe a man is an adult, maybe he takes a class, he learns, whatever it may be, different situation, but sometimes it's not until later on that he actually figures out that he himself actually was a victim of SA, and that, yes, it is possible for boys and men to be assaulted in that way.
Yes, it happens more in our communities than we would like to believe. It happens more in our communities of color than we actually get to hear about. Let's keep going. There we go.
I asked a question a few months ago on whether or not there are men who had inappropriate advances from older women when they were young. And I got hundreds of responses. I mean, story after story after story of men retelling the times, neighbors, aunts, teachers, caregivers, people at the church, people at daycare had done inappropriate things with them, had SA'd them when they were kids. And I was shocked, truthfully, because I expected maybe a handful, but I did not expect hundreds of men to come forward and tell these stories.
Hundreds of men coming forward saying that they have been inappropriately touched by a woman. These are the stories that we need to report on, gentlemen. We got to bring awareness to this.
Hundreds of men to come forward and tell these stories. And in that moment, I understood that this problem was a lot bigger than I think we really understand. And I truthfully believe men need to be heard, and they need to know that, again, they deserve to be healed just like women and girls who are SA deserve to be healed. I don't pretend to have the answer, but those stories.
Yes, they need to be healed. But we got to bring attention to this heinous behavior. Let's get to this one.
I've been in a situation to where I've seen women hit on men in a very aggressive way. Okay. And we all just, nobody, and even me at the point until I like kind of looked back and was thinking about how it started to become kind of cringy for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You know, and nobody noticed it, but like she was like very aggressive, like hitting on him. She was like, oh, you can get it. You can get it like that. And he was like, nah, I'm good. Like he was like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say he was gay. I think he just wasn't interested. Right. Yeah, he was like, he was just like, you know, like you can get fucked. Like she was just saying it back to back, like just over and over. And like everything that happened, like we was at dinner and like everything that happened, it was almost like she was making it a point to like, oh, I'm gonna show you. Don't worry, I'm gonna show you tonight. Like the drunker she got. Yeah, it was like the more she wasn't even drunk really. I could tell how he felt about it. Like he wasn't like, you know how some men like, shit, show me. He wasn't like that at all. Like he wasn't. You could tell he wasn't feeling it. He was uncomfortable, and after a while it became like, okay, girl, just stop saying that. He ain't bite back at all. Yeah, at that point I was like, if that was on the other shoe, if it was a man saying that to a woman or him saying that to her, we would have
Somebody
all
would've been
been
said something.
quickly like,
Yeah,
okay,
somebody
it's
would've been said
becoming
something.
harassment at this point.
Exactly. Don't let these women make you think that they are not as horny as you are, gentlemen. Like this woman said to that other man that she's telling the story about, the lady that she's talking about said to the waiter or whatever it was, you can get it, in front of everybody, but no one checked her behavior. Now imagine if a man seen a waitress at a restaurant and said, hey, you can get the D. I'm going to show you the D. You just wait and see. She kept saying, no, like I'm not interested. You going to get this D no matter what. How many people in that restaurant would have came to that woman's aid? How many people would have checked the behavior of that man? See, it's a double standard. It is hypocrisy. A woman can do those things and get away with it. Nothing happens to them. But let a man do just a fraction of what that woman just described in that video, and that man could possibly be looking at jail time, all types of charges, and have to register on the offender list. You get what I'm saying here? It's a hypocrisy. These women are as big as predators or anything else. Look at the female teachers, how they are getting caught every month. It seems like every month you hear a story about a woman, black, white, of any other ethnic group, messing around with the students, getting caught up with the students, texting them nude, unacceptable pictures to the young men, having more than one man holler out, more than one man at a time running a train on them, or two at the same time on top. Think about it. The stuff that you hear on the news that these women are doing, you see it every day, that today's modern day women, especially today, are predators. But let me tell you something. It ain't just start now. It's been going on. The reason why we know more about it now is simply because of the innovation of social media, the innovation of cell phones with cameras. We can pick up things, we can record things, stuff we couldn't do before, remember? So now it's in our faces, but it's always been there. But now with these advances in technology, we can catch the degenerate, lustful, lascivious actions of today's modern day woman like never before. Putting the light, the spotlight, in the magnifying glass on these women. And that's where it should be. Focused on these women. So we can look at them through the lens of reality and truth to dispel any type of ideal that all women are victims or angels, or that there simply are things that they will not do. So technology can be both a curse and a blessing. In this case, it is a blessing because it exposes the negative, nasty, defiled behaviors of these women. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's keep going. I think I have to turn this volume down on this one. Hold on.
Talk about it. Can we please talk about how in the Black community, a lot of young boys lose their virginity to a situation that will be deemed as assault? And if it was reversed, if it was a little girl, people would be going to jail. Can we talk about how a lot of young men in the Black community were about 10, 11 years old? Some older woman, some older teenager decided it would be cute to let this little boy touch on her. Can we please talk about that? Can we talk about how it is not only little girls who are always sexualized, that a lot of young men have gone through this, and we just pretend it doesn't have any type of effect on their mental? Can we talk about that? Can we talk about how a lot of these young men out here are over sexualized because they were molested, they were assaulted, things happened to them that should not have happened to them? Can we please get more into that? Can we talk about how they literally don't know what to do because it's supposed to be cool? Can we talk about that? That almost, I would say, a good 90% of the males that I know. Do I know thousands of males? No, but I grew up knowing at least 100, and can say at least 90% of them had some kind of sexual experience as a child from an older woman. I find it very disturbing and heartbreaking that nobody even wants to address it, and therefore These people don't even get help. These young men go through life just trying to bury it and forget it, something to suppress. Some of them get obsessions, other little defaults and things go wrong, but it's never addressed what happened to them was a trigger, was a cause, and the way that they act is the effect. Protect your children at all costs, boys and girls. No child should be sexualized before they even have an ability to get into the double digits.
And she told the truth. There are a lot of men running around right now that's been victimized in such a manner. And of course, they have developed certain type of physical appetites. Some appetites may be considered taboo because they was exposed to it before they became 10, before they became 11. Some people respond to the trauma with just being more freakier, having more intercourse, women and men alike. Some people respond to the trauma by not wanting to be touched. Even when they are with a significant other, they feel uncomfortable when that significant other touches on them because of the trauma that they have received from these women, and vice versa. So we need to keep the light on the troublesome behaviors of the musty-backed heifer that we know as the American black woman, in my most humble opinion. So you let me know what you think about this in the comments, y'all. And I'll be getting back with you pretty soon. Y'all be easy out there. Be safe now, you hear?